Well, hello there. How are you? Please, take a seat. Relax. Have you ever thought about it that no matter how right you are, you always need to go left? Have you ever thought of how important it is for drivers, for engineers, for doctors, of course doctors, but for you name it, teachers, to know their right from their left? Hey, I'm not picking on anybody right here, but I'm just stating the obvious, that knowing your sense of direction can get you places. No pun intended, of course. Well, no one can get it as right as healthcare practitioners. I mean, I'm not sounding anybody's trumpet here, but when it comes to having a systematic approach, they know what to do. It's almost like they have a reference point, a mechanism of action. I'm not saying that they're the only ones who use it, but they have a method to their madness. Well, just like getting abs, I thought about it the other day, just like getting abs takes place in the kitchen, all it takes is an apple, or maybe two, to get a solid understanding of this. Hey, can you pass me an apple, please? Oh, thank you. This will do. Come with me. Let's understand it.
They said 1 apple a day keeps the doctor away. How about 2? I guess if you really want a doctor, you probably take another one to negate it. Alrighty, beautiful apples right here, as you can see, with eyes, nose, and a mouth. Nobody said that Halloween was around the corner. Halloween just passed. But we have smiley faces because we finally figured out a way to know our left and our right, our superior, inferior, and everything in between. And all it takes is just 2 apples. Now, if I ask you, looking at the smiley face right here, this eye on this apple in relation to the nifty little mouth that I've done down here, and don't ask me where the eye, the mouth, and the nose went, because I definitely ate them. But what would you say? Let's get an understanding together. Obviously, I'm the one who took this bite. You guys saw me when I did that. Over here, if you want to split and you want to get an understanding of left and right, looking at this, what would you do? You would split the apple right down the middle, and that would split the smiley face into 2 sides. Now, this type of split, what do they call it? They call it a sagittal split, or a middle split, because it kind of splits the apple in half. And then in relation to what? In relation to you looking at that person, in relation to you looking at that body, the anatomical structure. Dentists would love this because they're looking at the mouth and the head and neck region, their game part. Now, if you want to say that you're traveling from the midline all the way out, you would say that you're going lateral, or you're going far away from the midline. And if you're going to the midline, then you're going what? You're going medial to the midline. Now, what about knowing front and back? Let's move on to the other apple. Here, if I take a look at this smiley face, or the bite that I took on the back end, you would say that the back end, how would you know that this is back and that's front? You would know it by splitting the structure, or in this case, the apple, right down the head section, or the coronal section, which would split the body to a front and a back portion. The front is the anterior side, and the back is the posterior side. And there you go, you've identified what's front and what's back, anterior, posterior, versus here split, versus right and left, and that's a sagittal split. So lateral or medial to the midline section. Now, one fun fact to know, in case you get asked that on a question, or you want to have an understanding of it a bit more, if you cut a line that doesn't go down the midline of the human body, or doesn't go right down the center of the object, or something like this, hopefully I'm doing it right. I'm glad my mom is not here, but maybe she might be watching. Shouldn't be playing with knives. If you split it here, something that is para next to the midline, paramedial or parasagittal, because that was a sagittal split. And then over here, anterior, posterior, it's a coronal or a frontal split. Think of it this way, front of the face, split. And then finally, if there's front and back, left and right, or lateral and medial, what's missing? Top and down. Top and down. Let's take one section for the sake of demonstration. Kind of split it down here. When you split it like that, then we can answer the question that I've asked you at the beginning, or have asked ourselves at the beginning. This eye in relation to the mouth is where? It's, if that's the top part and that's the bottom, you'd say it's superior to the mouth, or you say the mouth is inferior to the eye. And that's pretty much it. That's the gist of it. The only part that would be left, other than, of course, eating the apples, hopefully got some family members around here who can rest and digest while enjoying their meal, is lying down on your back with your face looking upward is known as a supine position. While if you lie down with your face down like this, that's the behind of this apple, and then you would be lying down completely with the whole body on a table or a mat, then your face is looking down, that's pronation. A quick way to remember this, I don't know if you watched the movie Oliver Twist, but when the little boy wanted some soup, what did he do? He grabbed a bowl, just like this. I'll show you right now. And was holding it like that and said, "More porridge, sir." So more porridge or more soup is when your hand, or when something's facing upwards. We'll talk about the hand later, such as in this case, when it's facing upwards. The smiley face looking upwards, that's supine, like the soup. And then facing downwards would be pronation. Thank you. Enjoy it. And don't forget, go grab an apple. One apple a day keeps the doctor away. Maybe you don't have to, unless if you're there with someone.
All right. Now picture with me an erect anatomical position. That's what it's called. As you can see in this photo, standing upright, shoulders straight, palms facing forward. Being the key feature of an anatomical position, the palm facing forward. Now you can take your understanding from the apple to the human being, where the coronal splits it to an anterior portion and a posterior portion, the transverse to a superior and inferior portion, and then finally the sagittal splitting it to a right and left, which is lateral and medial section. Let that sink in for a moment. And here's me trying it out. And then another concept is the superficial and deep. Straightforward. Whenever you go into the tissue, at the heart of it is deep, on the outside is superficial. A simple concept to be understood here or garnered here is putting your hand out like that, as if you're holding a bowl of soup, is a supine position. The red dot on the finger or the middle finger over here all the way out is out from the word distal, while the yellow on the watch is more proximal to the midpoint. So anything that is closer upwards or towards the midline would be proximal, and then far away would be distal. The top portion of the hand is known as palm, or the palm, so palmar side, and the bottom would be the dorsal, hence the anatomical position. And compared to the feet, what's on the bottom is plantar, to plant, from planting, so plant your feet, and then the top would be dorsal.